In the year 2483, a small mining outpost floated above the rocky surface of a shattered moon. It was cold, quiet, and forgotten by most of the galaxy. Only a few workers stayed there, collecting minerals and sending them back to Earth. Among them was Eric Monroe, a technician who preferred machines over people. He spent most of his days fixing broken wires and listening to old music. One night, while checking the outpost's communication systems, Eric noticed something strange. Signal was playing on a hidden frequency. It was soft and old, buried deep under noise. It was not like the usual space signals. Curious, he started to clean it up. After hours of work, he realized it was not just sound. It was a message. And it was not human. Eric called Kara Lane, the team's language expert. She was young, quiet, and loved puzzles. When she heard the message, her eyes lit up. She said it was not a language she had seen before, but it had form and structure. Together, they worked night after night, trying to understand the message. After days of decoding, they realized it was a warning and a summoning. It talked about a great being trapped beneath the moon, a ruler from long ago, waiting to rise again. Kara said the message was calling out to the stars, asking for help to break the seal. Eric didn't believe in old stories, but the signal made him feel cold. Something about it felt alive. Still, they sent the message to command on Earth. No one replied. Days later, the ground below the outpost started to shake. Machines failed. Lights blinked. A strange energy filled the air. Night, a deep sound came from under the moon. It was not an explosion. It was like a roar. Eric ran to the control room. Kara was already there, staring at the main screen. The moon's surface was breaking. A large crack formed near the base. From it, something rose. It was not a machine. It was not human. A black shape lifted into the air, shining with purple and gold lights. It looked like a ship, but it moved like it was alive. Its wings spread wide, casting shadows across the outpost. In the center of the shape was a large glowing eye, opened slowly and looked straight at the outpost. Then, everything went dark. No message was ever received from the outpost again. The last thing Earth saw from the station was a flash of violet light and a wave of static. In the silence that followed, the signal began to spread across space once more. But now it was louder. The Dragon Empress had awakened. Fleet Officer Logan Price sat in a quiet meeting room on Earth. The walls were smooth and white. The table was clean and long. Around him sat members of the United Galactic Council. They were older and calm, dressed in fine suits. Logan stood in front of them, holding a small data tablet. He spoke with a strong voice. He told them about the mining outpost that had gone silent. He showed them the strange signal. He explained how the last image from the station showed something dark rising from the moon. He warned them that this was not a normal event. But the council did not listen. One of the leaders, a man with sharp eyes, said the signal was just a glitch. Another woman said it was probably a mining accident. Third one laughed and said Logan had been reading too many old stories. Logan tried again. He showed them the violet light. He showed them the energy spike, but no one believed him. They thanked him for his time and told him to get some rest. The meeting was over. Logan walked out of the building with a heavy heart. The stars above Earth were bright that night. He looked up and wondered what was really out there. He could not forget the feeling he had when he saw the signal. It was not just noise. It was something calling. He went to an old friend, Haley Brooks. Yeah, she was a young pilot with sharp eyes and fast hands. She had once flown ships for the military, but now worked as a cybernetic engineer. She liked fixing broken machines and flying fast. Logan trusted her. He told her everything. She listened without laughing. She believed him. Together, they found a small team of people who were curious and brave. There was Jacob, a smart boy who loved space math. There was Nora, an engineer who had worked on old starships. There was Sam, a doctor who knew alien biology. They were not soldiers, but they were ready. They used an old science ship, repaired it, and loaded it with food, water, and tools. They called it the Dawn Star. It was not fast, but it was strong. They flew toward the shattered moon. It took weeks. The trip was quiet. They studied the signal and checked the data again and again. As they got closer, the signal grew louder. It was no longer soft. It was full of power. When they reached the moon, they found nothing but silence. The outpost was gone. Only broken metal floated in the dark. Pieces of walls, wires, and lights drifted slowly. Then they saw it. In the center of the wreckage was a mark burned into the stone, a strange symbol shaped like a flame with wings. Nora took a picture. Haley said it looked like an old royal seal. Before they could get closer, the ship's lights flickered. Alarms rang. Something was coming. From deep space, a shape appeared. It was the same black shape from the signal, the same glowing eye. The team held their breath. The ship did not speak. It circled them once, then vanished into the stars. Haley looked at Logan. Logan looked at the strange mark. They knew this was only the beginning. Far away from Earth, deep inside the dark edge of space, the black shape moved with purpose. It flew across empty stars, quiet and calm. Inside it, something ancient had awakened. Her name was Kalira. She was once a ruler, once feared, once loved. Now, she was alone. Kalira stood tall inside the heart of her ship. Skin shimmered like black glass. Her eyes glowed gold, full of memory and fire. She did not remember everything. Her past came in pieces, like broken glass scattered on the floor. She remembered voices, battles, and a throne. She remembered pain. She remembered betrayal. She looked at her own hands. They were not like before. They had changed over time. She had slept too long. Time had taken much from her. But her strength was still inside her. Her fire still burned. The ship around her was alive, made from old magic and lost metal. It was a part of her, felt her thoughts and moved with her wishes. Together, they flew from world to world. Kalira wanted to know what had changed. She needed to see if the stars still remembered her. She reached the edge of a small planet. It had lights and buildings. People walked under a pink sky. They were not like her old kind. They were new, different, soft skin, strange clothes. But there was something in their eyes that felt familiar. Hope, fear, curiosity. Kalira stayed in the sky, hidden in clouds. She watched. She listened. She learned their words. She learned their ways. They called themselves humans. They were strong in numbers. They had machines, ships, and power. But they also had something else. Heart. She remembered a time long ago. There was someone like them, a friend, maybe more. A face she could not fully recall, but the memory made her chest ache. On the planet below, a young girl looked up. She pointed at the clouds. She smiled and waved. She could not see the ship, but she felt it. Kalira saw her. Something warm touched her heart. For a moment, she forgot her anger, but peace never lasted. Another ship approached. It was silver and sharp. It carried weapons. Its pilot saw Kalira's ship and opened fire. The attack was fast. Lights flashed. Heat burned through the sky. Kalira stayed calm. Her ship moved like smoke. She did not fire back. She only dodged. The other ship shouted in warning. The voice spoke in human words. It called her a threat. It told her to surrender. Kalira listened, but said nothing. With a single wave of her hand, she sent a pulse through space. The human ship froze. Its weapons shut down. Its engines failed. But she did not destroy it. She let it drift. She wanted them to know she was not their enemy. Kalira flew away. Her heart was heavy. The stars had forgotten her, but she had not forgotten them. If they feared her, she would give them reason to understand. If they hated her, she would show them truth. She looked at the stars ahead. Somewhere, someone would remember her name. Somewhere, someone would speak it with respect. Kalira, the Dragon Empress, had returned. And this time, she would not be silent. The ship Dawnstar floated in deep space. Inside, Logan sat with the others. They looked at the strange mark they had found on the broken moon. It glowed faintly on the screen. Haley stared at it in silence. Nora ran it through old records. Sam listened to the signal again and again. Jacob found something, pulled up a very old file from a hidden databank. It showed drawings, maps, and a name. The mark was real. It belonged to an ancient ruler called Kalira. She was once the empress of a forgotten empire. No one knew how old the empire was, but the data said she had ruled before humans reached the stars. They sat in silence. The name felt heavy. The Dragon Empress. A name from old space myths. Logan felt a cold wind in his chest. She was not a story. She was real, and she was awake. Haley asked what kind of ruler she was. Sam read old lines from the file. Kalira was strong, wise, and feared. She had power beyond science. Her people followed her like she was a god. But the records also said she was betrayed by her own court. They feared her power and locked her away. Some thought she died. Others believed she would return. Now she had. On a far world, Kalira stood in the center of an empty hall. The building had once been a temple. Now it was full of dust and silence. She walked slowly, touching the old stone walls. She remembered this place. She had given speeches here. She had blessed her people here, all gone now. She turned and saw a group of humans hiding in the shadows. They had followed her ship. Some wore armor, some held weapons. But one man stepped forward with empty hands. He knelt and spoke. He said his name was Colin. He had studied her stories. He had always believed they were true. Said he was not here to fight. He wanted to serve. Kalira looked at him. His voice was calm. His eyes were steady. She saw no fear. He reminded her of someone long ago, friend. She helped him stand. She said if he wished to follow her, he must first understand the fire inside her. Back on the Dawn Star, Logan got a message from a nearby ship. It had survived a strange encounter. Pilot said a dark shape had stopped his weapons and let him go. He said it felt like mercy. Logan showed the message to the crew. Haley said it was a sign. Maybe the Empress was not here to destroy. They made a plan. Logan would try to speak with her. He would bring no weapons. Just a record of Earth's history and a translator. When they found her again, her ship did not attack. It let them come close. Logan stepped out and waited. Kalira appeared, tall and calm. Her golden eyes watched him. Logan bowed. He said he came with respect. He told her about Earth, about humans, about their past and hopes. She listened without speaking. Then she asked him one question. "Why do humans not fear me?" Logan looked at her and said, "Because we remember what it means to rise after falling." For the first time in many ages, Kalira smiled. A new path had begun, not of war, but of fire and trust. High above a red planet, the stars shimmered like ice. Kalira stood in silence inside her ship. The words of Logan stayed in her mind. Rise after falling. She thought about it again and again. Her memories were still broken, but something in his words made her feel strong again. Not angry, not lost, just strong. But peace was not welcome in every corner of space. Far from the red planet, deep inside the central station of the United Galactic Council, secret talks were taking place. Some leaders watched Kalira's return with fear. They remembered the stories. They remembered the power she once held. They feared she would rise again and take control. One group, hidden within the council, acted in silence. They unlocked a vault that had been sealed for 1,000 years. Inside was a weapon made long ago to destroy Kalira's kind. It was called the Flameborn Protocol. It was not just a weapon. It was a machine built to hunt dragons. They activated it without telling the rest of the council. They said they were protecting peace, but their plan was not peace, it was power. They wanted to use the Flameborn to control Kalira's energy, to take it for themselves. The machine woke slowly. Its body was made of black steel and red fire. Its eyes burned without rest. It did not speak. It only followed commands. Back on the Dawn Star, Haley found a strange signal in the data stream. It came from deep space, but it was not Kalira. It was something colder. She traced it and found the signature. It matched a file from the secret vaults. The Flameborn had been awakened. She ran to Logan and told him what she found. Logan read the files with a heavy face. He remembered stories from training. The Flameborn did not just kill dragons. It erased them. It burned their soul and left nothing behind. Kalira felt it too. In her ship, the walls shook. A cold fire moved through the metal. Her eyes closed. She saw a red light. It was coming. She knew it from long ago. A weapon her enemies had built when they feared she could not be stopped. She stood and looked out the window. Her voice was quiet. "It is awake." Logan tried to reach her. He sent messages, asked to speak. But Kalira sent only one reply. "Stay away. This is not your fight." Haley refused to stay back. She believed there was still a way to stop the fight before it began. She searched the old files and found something. A flaw in the Flameburn's code. She could get close, she might shut it down. The crew made a choice. They would not leave Calera to face the Flameborn alone. They had seen her heart. They had felt her mercy. She was not a monster. She was something else. Something rare. The Flameborn ship moved fast. It left trails of burning light across the stars. It locked onto Calera's signal and flew straight for her. Calera stood alone on the edge of space. Her ship opened its wings. Energy flowed through her hands. She would fight, not for power, but for freedom. She would not be locked away again. Logan and his team rushed to meet her. The final storm was coming, one that would decide who ruled the stars. The sky darkened. The stars watched. Fire began to rise. The space between the stars shook with force. The Flameborn came like a storm, burning red and black. Its engines roared like thunder. Calera stood on the edge of her ship, her golden eyes sharp. She raised her arms, and her ship glowed with ancient power. The battle had begun. The first blast from the Flameborn hit her shield. Sparks flew. Metal screamed. Calera did not move. She waited for the right moment. The machine fired again. She spun her ship to the side and sent a wave of violet light back. The two forces clashed in the sky, sending shockwaves across space. Far behind, the Dawnstar pushed forward. Logan stood beside Haley as she worked on the controls. Nora checked the engines. Jacob watched the data screens. Sam held a signal tool in case they needed to send a message. No one spoke. They all knew what this fight meant. Calera struck back with fire and light. Her ship moved like a shadow, fast and smooth. But the Flameborn was made for this. Felt no fear. It never paused. It only hunted. It moved through Calera's fire like a blade through water. The machine launched a red spear of energy. It hit Calera's ship. The side of her hull cracked open. She fell back, catching herself before she drifted. She held her side, feeling pain for the first time in many years. But she did not fall. The Dawnstar reached the edge of the battle. Logan told Haley to hold position. Haley refused. She flew closer. She said if they waited, Calera would die. Logan looked at her, then nodded. Haley sent a signal to Calera. She told her about the weakness they found. If Calera could push the Flameborn toward a nearby asteroid field, Haley could break its code. Calera heard the voice. Her hand lit with fire. She flew hard toward the rocks. The Flameborn followed, its red eyes locked on her. As they entered the asteroid field, rocks spun everywhere. Calera weaved through them. The Flameborn crushed every stone in its path. But it was slower now. Haley locked onto the machine. She sent the command through the signal tool. The code entered the Flameborn's core. For a moment, its body stopped. A single second. That was enough. Calera struck. Her fire hit the machine's side. The metal burned. The red lights dimmed. She hit again. This time the Flameborn screamed. It was not a human sound. It was cold and sharp. But it was not over. The Flameborn pulled away. Its lights came back. It turned toward the Dawnstar. It had seen the signal, knew who had broken its shell. Haley screamed. She could not move fast enough. The machine fired. Then Calera placed her ship between them. The blast hit her full. The screen lit with fire. Everyone on the Dawnstar held their breath. Silence. Calera's ship floated, broken but whole. Her voice came through the radio. I am still here, the Flameborn, damaged and confused, tried to power up again. But Calera was faster. She used all her fire in one last strike. The machine cracked. Its body broke. It fell into the dark, burning as it dropped. The battle was over. Calera's ship drifted, glowing weakly. Logan called her name. She did not answer. Haley tried again. Still silence. Then a soft voice. I see now. Not all fire must burn. Some fire can heal. The stars lit up again. For the first time in many ages, the galaxy was quiet. The galaxy slowly turned in silence. Space was calm after the long battle. The wreck of the Flameborn drifted, cold and lifeless. Its red lights were gone. Nothing moved inside, would never rise again. The Dawnstar floated close to Calera's broken ship. The crew looked out the windows with wide eyes. Logan tried again to reach her. Haley checked the scanners. There was still life inside. Faint, but real. They sent a drone to her ship. The small machine flew through the broken metal, found Kellara on the floor of the control room. Her eyes were closed. Her hands were open beside her, but her chest rose and fell. She was alive. Logan and Haley flew over with a rescue team. They broke into the ship and carried her back. Her body was cold. Her light was dim. But when they laid her down in the medical room, she opened her eyes. She looked at Logan. Her voice was soft. "You came back," he nodded. Every time, she smiled and closed her eyes again, resting, not gone. News of the battle spread fast. The council could no longer hide what had been done. People across the stars heard the story, not just of a war, but of a woman who fought to protect life, not destroy it. Many began to question the council. Some leaders stepped down, others asked for change. There was talk of new peace laws, ones that protected all beings, even those once feared. Kellara stayed on the Dawnstar for many days. She walked slowly. Her strength returned bit by bit. She stood beside Haley as she fixed the engines. She watched Jacob teach young pilots. She listened to Logan speak with people from other ships. One day, she stood outside on a space deck. The stars stretched forever. Logan joined her. He asked what she would do now. She did not answer at first. Then she said, "I was made to burn, but I choose to build." She decided to help those without a voice, lost colonies, hurt worlds, forgotten species. She would go where help was needed. She would use her power to heal. Logan offered the Dawnstar. She accepted. But on one rule, it would belong to no one. No nation. No ruler. Just people who cared. They left the council space. They flew to the edge of known maps, to the places others forgot. Kellara walked with the people, not as a queen, not as a weapon, as someone learning to begin again. Haley wrote about their journey. Her words spread like fire, but not the kind that burns, the kind that lights a path. Years passed. The name of the Dragon Empress became something new, not a title of fear, a name of hope. In a quiet system under twin suns, Kellara sat with children. She showed them how to hold a crystal of fire, how to shape it with care. The children laughed, not afraid. They did not know war, only peace. Logan watched from the hill. He smiled. The stars watched too. In the still light of space, the fire burned on, not to destroy, but to warm a new world.